In the absence of any intro, we're going to get started. So, today we're talking about how to sell with confidence and build a profitable business. And what led to this? I think we ran a poll in the community earlier in the month asking, which area, the founders, we're supporting want us to focus on or address. And right, and I think this had the highest votes, which is why we are focusing on this month. So how do we sell with confidence? Because it's always good to have good ideas. It's also good to have right good products or services. But selling is actually what a lot of people struggle with, and that's actually what makes the business sustainable and profitable. And a lot of people actually do struggle with selling. So a little bit about myself. My name is Rukayat Alabi, and I'm a multi-award-winning entrepreneur. I'm a business coach, a career coach, as well as the CEO of RKY Group. RKY Group, consists of about five, um, different businesses across consulting, tech, property, coaching, edtech, and others. I've generated, seven-figure revenue across my multiple businesses business ventures, and I'm now helping others do the same. I've also received many awards for the impacts and for the work, ranging from CEO of the Year UK to EdTech CEO of the Year, Innovative Entrepreneur of the Year, Black British Business Rising Star Entrepreneur, finalist in the Black British Business Awards, finalist in the Black Tech Achievement Awards, top 25 changing the face of education, top 25 advancing diversity and inclusion in the UK, global recognition award, and so much more, really. And that's actually to show how I run business. I'm an all-rounder entrepreneur and I make sure that all boxes are ticked. And that's what we should all do. You can't focus only on selling and leave some parts of your business out, right? When you are building your business, you need to build with purpose. You need to build, with the not just okay, I think, and not just, about only, you can't put the fact that you want to make money always forward, which we all know is the goal anyway. Builds RKY Careers, a net tech company with over 2,000 success stories from scratch. I've never raised funding for my business, and I've still gone ahead to have seven-figure revenue. And this is not to say that raising funds is bad. It's just something I didn't have to do. However, if you have to raise fund in your business, or we have entrepreneurs as well, we are trying to raise fund, we will also support. I'm the founder of Limitless Without Borders events and annual events that bring together professionals, founders that we support across our different initiatives in a room, right, where we have very insightful discussions, right? And this year we scaled that, from over 200 attendees from the last one, 50 in the first one, and then from 50 we moved to 200, and from 200 we moved to 1,200 in just 3 years. Having over 700 of this 1,000 in a physical hall, this is actually like groundbreaking, and it's something that most people that even run events, businesses struggle to achieve, even especially this year, 2025. I've been featured in Forbes. I'm a member of the Forbes Coaches Council. I've been featured in The Voice UK, Arise TV, Channels TV, Guardian, and so much more, US Times. And I'm very passionate about equipping professionals and founders with the clarity, the confidence, they need to thrive not only in their careers, but also in business. I help them to know how to sell with ease, attract clients, and build profitable business, while also building a supportive community alongside. So a little bit more about RKY Group, a dynamic conglomerate of different businesses from RKY Careers to Apply Body Limited, where we help and support professionals with job applications, right? It's an AI-powered tool, currently also evolving, right? And we have Limitless and Thriving podcast, Limitless Without Borders, like I said, RKY Digital Solutions, Immigrant Founders Network, and others that are not featured here. So we have supported and worked directly and indirectly with over 100 founders to build and maintain thriving businesses in the UK and beyond. So RKY Business Hub particularly is dedicated to empowering UK founders and other global, founders across board. And our mission is to provide the practical skills, knowledge you need to build sustainable and profitable business. What I find is that a lot of people, even in this my space, I've seen a lot of people come in, to try to run similar businesses. And few months, few weeks down the line, some even manage a year down the line, you find that those businesses no longer exist. Even beyond this, like across all types of businesses, and one of the things that is lacking is the inability to sell confidently. Because if you cannot sell your business, will just remain where it is. You can have the best products if you don't have the right marketing strategies or sales strategies, right? You are likely not to move the business forward. So in this session, you're going to gain actionable insights to transform your sales approach to boost your confidence, drive real growth, right? And so much more. So let's get right into it. So like I said, in the next 2 hours, you're going to learn the importance of selling, crafting and delivering your pitch, leveraging coaching for sales and business success, understanding your sales ecosystem, mastering objections, and building trust. So let me throw the question to you guys now. I can see that some of you introduced yourself or as already running businesses. What would you say, your experience with selling has been? What's your experience been with selling? Because I know that a lot of people just shy away from selling. They find selling cringe, but let me know what has been your struggles with selling. Feel free to raise your hand. We can unmute ourselves. Or should we retrace it some? Okay, Corey, are you trying to speak? If you're trying to speak, we can't hear you, Corey. But let's take it back a bit, before we even get to selling. What would you say is your challenge with, because selling is just one of the many things, which is why we chose this topic. Last month, I think we dealt with just starting the business, I think we've done common mistakes founders make. I think we've also done, the starting a business in the UK one as well. So what would you say is your current business challenge at the moment? Okay, I love what Victor says. I find it a bit difficult to ask people to pay. I'd rather do stuff for free, but apparently I can't continue like that. Right, I love that. So is there anybody else struggling with either, just tell me what stage you are. It doesn't have to be selling. It could even be the stage where you haven't even started, you have lots of ideas, right? And you just need help to start. Although we've had sessions where we talked about moving your idea, right? But where everything is still all entangled together. But let's just know, what do you struggle with, either from ideation stage, scaling stage? Because I've been there. I've not only built one business, right? I've also built other businesses, which were once ideas that I have. I'm someone that's like, I have millions of ideas in my head, and I always go ahead to implement. Right now, I have about 10 products that are like 100% ready to be taken to markets that I can, and then I should also take to markets very soon. And that's to show how you move your business from idea to successful business. And just like I said, look at me too. I also have business products I've built that I've not taken to market, which is where some people are as well. They spend thousands of hours building. They're building a product that's going to solve the problem. And 3 years after, you're still building. I was telling it in one of the sessions I attended that just before I started RKY, I had the opportunity to be, one of the co-founders, of an idea. A friend of mine had an idea and he brought this idea to me. And when he brought the idea to me, and this was even long before I started even doing it as, we fleshing it out together. Oh, why not do this? Let's do it. And I'll tell you that today, we are still they're still, because I mean, I got busy with RKY when I started RKY and, they are still in the process of, still building. They've not made sales from this business as we speak. And this is me 5 businesses after that. So the strategies I use is what I teach in our business coaching program. Because you can't continue to build in the background, build in the background. You can be building a product that solves a problem. Nothing wrong with that. But there are so many other things you could be doing and you should be doing alongside that actually turns your idea to a business even before your product is ready. That is what, my students actually learn from our business coaching program. So let's go right into it. Femi also said it's usually the first step to get sales, but there okay, so it says there's help these days with digital platforms. Okay. And if it says our own challenge is getting started. So let's go back to Victor. I totally can relate to finding it difficult to ask people to pay. And that I think depends on how you relate with people. Of course, you will have people that have known you when you were offering it for free. But the moment it turns to a business, if someone comes to you with a problem, what you should be telling them is, this is how I work with people. You have to define how you work with people. This is how I work with people. Through this, even have your automated response. Don't worry yourself, so long as there's a greeting there. Even if the person comes from a personal, I was told to reach out to you for this. Just make sure your response also says hello back, and then you tell them, okay, this is how I work with people. You can book a one-to-one. I mean, you can also be soft about it if you don't want to just paste that, right? You can first say hello and eyes, but don't get too in-depth into it before you now introduce, how you actually work with people. So these are the alternative ways you can work with me, this. And that's it. So there's really nothing, there's no problem with the same people that would keep coming to you for free things. They would pay other people that don't even know as much as you do for the same service they're giving them, if that is the way those ones. So you're the one that would choose how people should relate to you by how you define the first conversation with them. So I don't know if this answers the question, but we're going to get into sales in depth as we proceed. Like I said, you define how you work with people. You can just continue to give free services, free information. If they can't find how to work with you, when people even see, say for instance, you go viral with content you did, if it goes viral and people click, they will go through your page. They will find how they can work with you. And if they cannot find anything that suggests that to work with you requires this fee, then that's they would DM you and keep asking you those questions for free, right? Or you know Okay, so if it says getting started, which I totally understand, currently I'm working with over 5 founders in the first cohort of the business coaching program, where we are helping them move their business idea to successful businesses. And we are just like 7 weeks in right now out of the 10 weeks. And to be honest, a lot of them are even already getting paid for their expertise and all of that. So yes, it's very possible to move from idea that you are to getting started. One of the most important things to start with is making sure you start right and not just doing it as a try and error thing. One of the mistakes people make is that they do try and error. They don't get the expert coaching or guidance required. Not everybody would be lucky to just start and get it right. Right. And it's not all ideas too. That even people that are getting it right launch that will be successful. I can't count how many ones that I've implemented that didn't work. I can't count how many ideas that I've implemented that didn't work. But the good thing is that as a business owner, there's no like one way. You can't approach things from a one way angle. So if one doesn't work, there's something to bounce back to. And that's what I teach in the business coaching program as well. How my founders that I work with must ensure that, you know, before we even there's like for each of the classes we have as well, there are tasks that they have to do that relates and provides clarity. So in our business coaching program, it's not like assignments that I mark and everything. There are questions that you need to answer that if you don't answer the week one question, when we get to week two, there will be a gap. For instance, there was one where they had to go do like serious research to find at least 10, at least 10 or thereabouts ways they will make income from this business, and all of this will be pushed alongside. So if one is not working, another one will work. You can't start a business with just one way of making income because it's not going to get you, far. Because, diversity is everything. Okay, so let's look at problem that most founders face. Fear of selling. Just like Victor shared, you feel uncomfortable promoting your service and worry about coming across as pushy or desperate. Guess what? Desperate and pushy people are the ones that get their income paid, are the ones that get their fee, their bills paid, and the ones that build successful business. And when I'm saying pushy or desperate, I'm just using the terms used there. But you just have to define how you want to work with people. You have to be selfish with your time and what you invest your time in. The moment you even start getting people pay you and you start supporting these people, you will just see that naturally you have no time left to, and you then have to choose, do you want to continue to, waste my time, and it might not be a waste, but that you'll be forced to really define how you want to work with people. So if you're only working with three paid people, it's better than spreading yourself thin, and being all over the place. So feeling uncomfortable promoting your services and worry is something a lot of people, struggle with, which is why you need to start it as a business with that business mindset that, what, this is you need to start, not like, oh, I'm winging it, I'm try and error, let's try this. But if you start as a business and you already have that mindset that this is a business, you won't even feel that way, right? Because of course it's a business and the business has income stream. In fact, I remember things that some people would do for free. If there was a time about 2, 3 years ago that, people will come to me and say I should do something for free, and I'll let them know that actually, in my finances, this particular task you're asking me to do is one of my income lines. What does that mean? You need to define your income line. My income line is, first of all, speaking, another one could be, so define your income line. So if people tell you to do something, I think it was speaking that year too. I think it was about 2, 3 years down the line. It was actually a church. They wanted me to come speak to their audience, and, they wanted me to do it for free. And at this time, what they wanted me to speak about, not a lot of people could speak about it. And I was just like, you know what? I understand what you mean. I understand that I will get students. I'm not saying you should do this, because businesses are different and the level you've got into your business too will determine how you go about this. And I think I remember telling them that because I could see they desperately wanted me on that particular engagement. So I told them that this is like an income line for me. I understand I will get potential students, which I cannot put value to. However, it's an income line on its own for me in my business that needs to tick. And they paid me. Maybe it was £150 or £300, but this was like 3 years ago. But they did pay. Sorry about that, guys. So I can't remember the amount, but for me, I got that payment and sorry about that, guys. So, I mean, Victor, I hope we've addressed the fear of selling, to a certain extent. No consistent paying clients. You are stuck in the feast of famine cycle with irregular income and unpredictable clients flow. A lot of people struggle with this as well, just because they don't know how to sell. Today you get paid, tomorrow you don't, you know. And that also comes because there's no structure to how you sell. Also, lack of clarity on your offers. You need to be clear on what your offers are. If not, you keep engaging, you need to have your offers. And that would also help you overcome your fear of selling. And that's one thing we do. Like I think the second module in our business coaching program is all about you identifying what your income streams and offers are. You need to be clear on them. How do you intend to make money from this business? How are the people that are currently doing this nature of business you're getting into, how are they making money from it? You can look at 20 of them and pick one from here. Just make sure that for me, 10 income streamlines, your income line. If you look at banking, for instance, that some of us are familiar with in Nigeria, there are so many income lines for me to make easy. When you print statements, you pay. When you do star 737, commission comes in. I say star 737 because I'm used to the GT Bank code itself. When you do, that's what I mean by income lines. Your income line in your business has to be multiple of them, such that you are even monitoring as well from this particular line. You need to treat each line as a business of its own. From this line, this was the number of income that came in this week. This is the line, this is the number of income that came in this month, so that you can know where you need to put your efforts in. In the digital product line, for instance, this is what came in. In this line, this is what came in. So you need to have multiple streams, right, of income and be clear on your offers. So the next one, random freelancing approach, which doing things for free, doing this because, and that's something a lot of us struggle with. We start businesses, or we hope to start businesses, and then we do it as a freelance. People reach out to you today, they get response 5 days after, because you are busy, we work. Because you're busy with work, or because you're busy with God knows what. If you want to start a business, you need to go all in, and you need to be sure that, okay, this is what I really want. And so you can't be doing it as, oh, freelancing. And I think a lot of, in quotes, Nigerian businesses in this UK, they struggle from that. They've gone ahead, they have a page, they have this thing, and then people are reaching out to them and no response, because they are dealing with it. You are taking any project that comes your way without strategic focus or systems for growth. That's where you will now find people that have been, and that's something I've even found recently. You will see that they've been existing in the business space for over 5-10 years, and they don't have 50K revenue to boast of, because they've been doing it as it's come. If they get projects today, they do it. If they don't, consistency, having clarity is actually what is going to keep that momentum up, right? So I don't know if there are other problems that some of us were like, which is where we started from. Is there any other parts you want to share that we've not addressed? But Victor says income streams of Nigerian banks are mostly exploitation. Well, I agree with you, but look at it. They're the only ones that have the trillions of revenue to boast of, right? From one business, like trillions. Not even revenue, profits, trillions. Yes, of course, most of them are exploitative, but business is relative. What one person is charging you for, some other person will do it for free. And people that have been getting it for free, when they come across you, they will say you're exploiting. And people that have been paying for it as well, because they know the value of what they are paying for, they will appreciate what they are getting. So it's subjective, really. Which is why it's always surprising what you see that people are packaging as business these days. Anything is a business so long as you get people that are willing to pay for it. So the confidence factor in selling, and that also goes back to confidence. Like, confidence is not just a trait, or something that is a good to have. It's a critical skill in sales, and it influences every interaction from initial outreaches to you closing deals. Confidence is very important. So immigration problem as well. You don't know the business you will do and how it will affect your visa. I heard someone getting paid from content creation was denied ILR. So there's also that. And I think I I hear that, I hear that, but the most important thing when it comes to this thing is understanding the rules and doing it compliantly, which is what you will learn in our coaching program as well. So I also hear that there are people doing, what's it called? There are people doing self-sponsorship, right? Meaning that they're listed as directors on their business. So how is that flying? How is that flying, right? If you're not allowed to own a business as someone on the skilled worker visa. That's one. And secondly, for most people, most of these stories we hear, it's not just about the fact that they are doing content creation. It's because probably they are not paying their taxes, right? If you earn up to, well, I think they've even increased this from 1,000, or they're increased. I saw an article somewhere that they are moving it from 1K to something to, like, maybe I don't know what the new amount is. Let me not quote. But now, right now, if the income you are making for your business or your side hustle is not up to £1,000, you do not owe to pay taxes. You don't owe taxes. But I think if it's small, up to 1,000, I'll use the 1,000, which is the one I'm sure about, then you need to start paying taxes. So most of these people, they are doing all this content creation without paying taxes or declaring, and again, if your visa condition says that you cannot, do any other job or something, so that might be a problem. But what am I trying to say? Most of the cases we have people denied ILR, it's not always as it's not always as straightforward as we hear it. Okay, rejection is part of the process. So what does confidence do? It drives success. Confident sellers inspire trust. When you believe in your offering, your customer will do too. Do you know what? When we don't believe what we are selling, it's always obvious. You have to be confident, and which is where you see people that are packaging God knows what. And by the time they sell it to you, you will not even know when you bring out your cash or bring out your card to pay. Selling is the real secret. Some people can sell stone and you will buy it. You will see that it's stone like this, you will still buy it. And that's where sales comes in. So Victor also says, I'm more comfortable doing business with people within my circle, but sometimes a prophet is not respected in his own circle. How do I reach out to people I don't know and get them to pay? I love that question. You know why? I've never been successful in selling to people within my circle. Like pitching, I've never even like pitched to people within my circle. People within my circle, they find me outside and come back to reach out to me. I've never believed in doing circle business, community business, or what particular, I don't believe in that. It doesn't work for me, Sha. So, which is why, I believe to cast my net wide. I'm in so many personal communities. For instance, LWB. I remember we were promoting LWB. I wanted to have 1,000 guests for LWB. And I have circles. I have circles where I have people that have known me. One of those circles has over 500 people on the group. And I would ordinarily believe that out of those 500, at least 100 of them know me personally. And even if they don't know me personally, they know who I am. And apart from that, I also promoted them. And when I say I promoted, of course, I share, but without expectations. I share my contents in communities and groups. But I have zero expectations. I believe in processes, relying on my ads, relying on the value I'm offering, relying on referrals from people that have used my service or products, rather than relying that people that like me will pay me for my service, or people that know me will pay me for my service. It doesn't always work that way. Of this 500 group, and normally this 500 group and that's the mistake a lot of businesses and founders make. They believe that 500 people are here, last 200 people will attend, but it doesn't work that way. Don't rely on people doing things for you because they know you. Rather, believe in the system you've set, the quality, the customer service, the superior service that you've actually put in place to give to your customers. And that would always give you the return business. By the way, my story in this community I'm talking about, how many people attended my events? Just one person. One person out of those 500 people attended my events. And how many physical people did I have at my events? Over 700 people. And what does that tell you? And this is not to say that some communities are not, I had other communities as well, for instance, church and all of that, where I got like, over 20 people attend. But I've never had a strategy for launching something to rely on just one. I just cast my net wide. I rely on things I pay for, like, okay, I rely on, before I even found all these communities, I started my business blindly. I didn't have anybody. At the time I even found these communities, I already had over 29K followers on Instagram. People that were following my business. So why should I rely? And that's always been my strategy. And I think it's always worked for me. So imagine if I was banking my all in just that community and not doing my ground sales work. It would definitely not give the desired results. So that's something you want to be careful of. Communities and circle, but how many of them can you recycle as customers? How many of them can you, let's even say they all love you and they buy from you once. What about your next, how about consistency? Which is why relying on processes, systems, and sales funnel is always better than relying on relationships only or relying on communities. Yes, relationship is good, don't get me wrong, depending on what you're selling as well. But my strategy is, and that has really helped me, my business, not to have dependencies. There's no community like this that can threaten me and say, we are not buying from you again. Because I've never had 100% of customers from them in the first place. So I don't know if that makes sense, Victor. So rely on your sales funnel, your strategies, and all of that. So rejection is part of the. Okay, so be confident in what you're selling, which is one thing. I know what I'm doing. No person can tell me what I'm doing because I always invest, first of all, in the products, in the service, in the quality, in the excellence, and I go ahead, right, to sell to them based on what they will get. People always want to know the value that is in it for them. That's what people want to know, and that value you can only communicate it and which is why. But some people, they can sell anything, or they can even sell scam. But that's another level. But what am I trying to say? Be confident in what you're selling, and that way the people you are selling to can perceive your confidence. And that's something I've always done in business as well. I don't sell anything I'm not confident in. And I don't sell it. And that's why in my coaching or training business, there are some courses I've not launched to date because I don't have the confidence that I can guarantee the outcome. This business coaching program that we now do at RKY Careers, if I didn't have confidence in my ability to deliver, I wouldn't start it. Right. So that is where confidence, you have to be confident to sell so that even when you get one person that doesn't believe in it, their lack of trust or whatever in your business would not kill it. Right. So overcoming fear, rejection is part of the process. Like I said, rejection. Some people you will pitch to them, you would have even been banking on them that this person, when the time comes, this person, I already have this person, and then the rejection comes. View it as a feedback and not failure. Learn from each of your rejections, each no, to get closer to a yes, either in applying to grants, in applying to awards, in selling to customers. You would always get no's, and those no's don't define you. You shouldn't let them define you. Sales as service. Shift your mindset from persuasion to problem solving. You're not pushing a product, you are providing a valuable service that meets a need. How many of you have seen doctors or hospitals run adverts, and say, oh, comment this to get my treatment? Of course, I know hospitals some hospitals do run adverts, and maybe in this space, especially NHS and co. However, guess what? If you are providing value that people cannot do without, you don't need to persuade them. So always pitch to people based on the problem you're solving for them, rather than persuading them to buy from you as if they are helping you. If you buy from me, I'm the one going to be helping you and not the other way around. So you're not pushing a product, you're providing a valuable service that meets a need, which is why when you are selling, it's important you identify the pain points of people you're selling to and offer your solution as those pain points. Understanding your offer. Before you can sell with confidence, you must have absolute clarity on what you're selling and its inherent value. Clarify what you sell. Go beyond the surface. What are the core components of your product or service? What are you selling? How does it help people? Define your value. Articulate the unique benefits and competitive advantage your offering brings to the market, regardless of the price you set for your product or your service. Some people will still feel it's too expensive. How much are you going to be going down for each person that feels that way? Which is why you need to define your value. Articulate the unique benefits. I know some people that their model in business is not to offer discounts. I offer discounts because it works for me. But I know some people in business, they don't offer discounts. What they do is to increase the value. I know some people in business, they don't sell to people that are average or middle. They sell to only the rich. That's a business model. It's up to you in business to define what you are selling, who you are selling it to, what problem you are solving for them, and the value they are getting out of it. Because that's what people need, to align with. What makes your service and offering different from the next person? Connects to your customer needs. Remember I said it, that pinpoints. How does your solution directly address and alleviate customer specific needs or problems? The customers, your potential customers, what are their needs and how does your product solve these problems of your customers? This foundational understanding empowers you to speak authentically and address your customer concerns effectively. Crafting a confident sales pitch. So each time you have an opportunity to speak to a customer and there's no deal, there's no, like, for every time my team are struggling to convert somebody and they pass on the person to me to talk to the person, by the end of that call, what we are hearing is, there was one lady, what we are hearing is, okay, even if they are not enrolling for this course, they will enroll for the next, or even if they are not buying this at this time, they are buying it the next time, right? And that is how it should be. You are the chief salesperson, of course, for your business because you understand the vision and you can sell that vision to even a customer. There was a particular call I picked for a client's call I picked on one of our phones one day. And by the time I just explained the value the person would get. The person was like, you are very good at selling your, and I was like, right. And there's nothing I said that was made up. And that's the thing. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to make sure you deliver that promise. So start with a hook, present the problem, introduce your solution, explain the benefits, and end it with a call to action. So this even applies to your content as well. And one of the things I would say when you want to, especially when your sales pitch is to a customer one-to-one, is to first of all listen. Listen. Listen so you know the angle to come from when you're dealing with those customers. Benefits over features. Don't just list what your product does. It doesn't really matter if your product is the best in the market because it can help you to, add up after everything. I'm struggling with the example to give now because most of you didn't tell me the nature of your businesses, but you can't be listing the features of your products. Rather, how does it transform the lives? Which one, is important to them? It's not just about, oh, our app, Our app has this beautiful color, it's even very, it's the most beautiful app. It's not really important, the color of your app. What's most important is how does this app save me time? How does it save me spending on different other services? Storytelling power. Use narratives to make your pitch memorable and relatable. Share success stories or illustrate how your solution solved a similar problem or business. If you're selling physical products, because in our current coaching program, we've got e-commerce, we've got fashion, we've got ed tech, we've got property, a wide range, of students. And even if you're selling products use in an e-commerce settings. There are ways you can share behind the scenes. There are ways you can share your customer feedback. There are ways you can still share success stories to illustrate how your solution, is solving a similar problem that people can relate to. So people can see themselves down the value chain as well. Like, okay, this person is where I am. This person was where I currently am, and this person has got their solution. So that means that is possible for me, right? And then I can go ahead. Handling objections with confidence. I don't know if you know what objections are, but objections is, are those responses you get that when people are still making up their mind whether or not to go ahead with your service or products, right? They could say, oh, I want to talk to my spouse. Oh, I'll think about, are you sure this is the best for me? For each of your businesses, even the products related on physical products, you need to know your objections and answer them in advance before they are even asked. Anticipate typical concerns people would have. Is it pricing? If it's pricing, then you know that to handle objections related to pricing, you need to put value first. Is it timing? If it's timing, then you need to let them know that, oh, this is how, you know, this is what you could be losing if you don't, or is it the need? You need to prepare thoughtful responses for each of the objections that, people would give. Respond and don't react. Listen actively, acknowledge their concern, and then provide a clear, concise counterpart without getting defensive. Oh, people could come and say, oh, I bought a similar product last year and it didn't work, you know, and then it didn't work. This is the reason why I didn't like it. Just listen to what was wrong with that one. And if luckily your own is better than that, then you know where it's itching them. Then you can respond to that particular um itching. So turn into opportunities. Each objection. And the thing is that there are people that are most difficult to sell to are people that you don't even know where they stand. You don't know why they are not going ahead. But if people have told you why they might not be going ahead, it means they're giving you an opportunity to counter that. So each time you get an objection, don't see it as they are comparing me, or see it as an opportunity to further demonstrate value, address misunderstanding, and strengthen your client's relationship. So, is there anyone that wants to share objections that they currently are facing that is affecting sales? And that's something I always do with my sales team, in my businesses every week when I meet with them. What are the objections? What are people saying? What's the general feel and pulse of the people, that you are speaking to? And that way you are able to actually go back to the drawing board to address what people really need, or what is stopping them from converting. So I'm asking right now, like, what are the common objections that you faced or that you struggle with solving, or that you struggle to respond to? Well, I know the struggle with us. They don't always have money. Right. I can really relate to that. They always say they don't have money. Well, with regards to them not having money, right, it's either of two things. You can decide to reduce your prices to mix with their affordability, or you can decide to change who you are selling your markets to. But I totally understand. Right now, the markets, the current business space, people are really struggling with affordability and all of that. But that does not mean that, and which is why it's good to have different models that you're exploring for your business. But that they don't always have money is something that you would always hear. It could be as a result of a mismatch of your who you are selling to. So if you are running your ads, for instance, to people who cannot afford a certain amount. So like for instance, if you are running your ads of a course of £1,000 and you're running it to target audience that are in Africa, that the exchange rate has already turned that to right millions of naira or cedis or whatever, and you know that there's a mismatch, they would always not have money, not because they are not rich in their own country, but because there's a mismatch. So you might want to look at your target markets versus your pricing, which is one of the research you need to do before you set your pricing for your product or your service as well. A lot of people just set prices based on, oh, this is what other people are selling it. You don't really know the advantage, competitive advantage that those other businesses have over you. You don't know who their target audience are. You might not know so many things about them. Okay, so Rukadi says we create battle cards for objections in my organization. Super helpful as it keeps you prepared. Exactly. So battle cards, I love the name of that. You are prepared. Like, and that's what every salesperson for your business. You are the chief salesperson, and that's what every salesperson must have handy. There's no question they must ask you that you're not prepared for. With like special. Once that question even comes, I'm always even happy. Oh, I don't have time. I work weekends. Oh, don't worry about that. Or, oh, I need to talk to my spouse. Oh, really? Like, you always have to, you know, have those. Oh, I don't have money. Oh, don't worry. You can pay in installments. Right. So, there's always something that you should have your battle card, just like I love the way they call it in our company. I feel strongly you have touched on the main objections, affordability and decision makers. Okay, thank you for sharing that. I think I'll just design different products for different customers. Yes, you are right, Rookie. I charge lower for Nigerian clients, but it doesn't seem fair, Sha, because they are getting the same value. Well, it's up to you to decide that. Please, do you manage social media ads or do you have an ad expert? Yes, we do have, people who can help with your ads, but it depends on what stage you also are. Have you like ticked all the other boxes before you start spending on ads? Sometimes pushing money to the problem is not always, the solution. But let's talk about the next thing, which is the coaching advantage. What I find that most people struggle with is the fact that they are just like winging it, try and error, this work, this doesn't work. That might be good in like a season of abundance, like where like what they call that when it's not recession, what's it called? Is it boom, right? In a season of boom where people have money to play with, people to join you in your trial and error. But in the way the market is right now, people are really like people are not just also spending on just anything. And you want this because it's this sales that you get that turns to income and profitability and that also leads to the business expansion. It's very important to leverage coaching. You need to elevate your sales performance and entrepreneurial journey. And sales is not just what happens at the end only. Sales is not just the only key, right? Everything needs to be gotten right, from even the offer to the products to the quality to even your why. You need to have it clear. Coaching provides you the focused support you need to truly excel, right? From strategic clarity, it helps you to gain a clear roadmap tailored to your unique business challenges and goals. So skill mastery, refine your sales techniques, communication, and negotiation for higher conversion rates. So coaching also helps you to understand what you're really doing, right? I mean, I've got some of my coaching clients here on Discord that can share their experience, or that would be sharing their experience on the coaching program. It really helps you to get that clarity. And I can't tell you week on week how I hear that, being on our coaching program has actually helped put them in the right perspective, things they didn't even think or they didn't know they were supposed to actually um, prepare for or have in place, right? And then confidence boosts. It helps you to overcome limiting beliefs and approach every sales situation, and approach every sales situation with unwavering self-assurance. There's no shame in selling, and there's no shame in running your business. If you know me very well, across my 5 different businesses, if you go to all the social media pages of them, you will see me, in fact, my KPI self is more about selling than any other thing. Churning out videos for my team members, doing this, having my face everywhere. Now, not all sales need to have your face everywhere. What am I trying to say? Selling is very important. Discover how our business coaching programs can transform your sales approach and accelerate your growth. So it can help you establish authority. You need to establish authority. And those are part of the things that really help. If you actually start your business with confidence, understanding your why, and doing it right, and you're already an authority in your field, which is what I said. Sometimes you can't just match your price with other people. You don't know what their competitive advantage are. And people who actually start, with a solid foundation always have that competitive advantage over the rest. So it helps you showcase your expertise and position yourself as a thought leader in your niche, through content, speaking, community engagements, and so on, right? I've got people, you know, who through contents, through showcasing their expertise are like commanding even way more. I know I have one of my alumni as well, who just started a business. This business is less than 6 months. And just because they are positioning themselves as authority, others are falling on top of others for them in their business. And they're even selling products and services. I mean, they're selling products that, it seems like this market is already saturated. Everybody is doing this. But guess what? Through consistent authority positioning, right? They are able to keep themselves standing out and they're able to keep the income coming in as well. Leveraging proof points, utilize testimonials, case studies, and quantifiable data. Be authentic as well. It's our coaching, would help you build trust, credibility, and authenticity. And trust is the bedrock of long-term customer relationships and repeat business. So here are some of the success stories of people that have, engaged or that have coached either, through the coaching program or, within 3 weeks of joining the program, I booked my first 3 paying clients. The clarity I gained was absolutely transformational. I finally have a clear business model that makes sense, no more random freelancing. And I have a strategic approach that's actually working. Right. So these aren't exceptional cases. They are typical results. When you combine clarity with confidence action, the program provides you with both the framework and the support you need. So let's talk about, the RKY Business Coaching Program. The next cohort is October 25th. And, in this program, you get to learn not just sales, but everything starting right, with the right foundation to compliance, visibility, I think, module upon module. I think there's a slide that's going to show us more details. So this is designed for founders at every stage, from idea validation to confidence scaling. You know, the coaching program will help you discover the right path for your entrepreneurial journey. So we've got 3 packages. We've got the Build Smarts, where you get 10 weeks of recorded classes, 5 live classes. You get visibility across media platforms. You get peer support and resources. You get to get coached by myself across all of these different pain points. And this is the original price for this is £500. And we've got the Build Bold. This is also a group accelerator, 10 weeks of recorded classes as well. You know, 5 weeks of live classes with myself, periodic one-to-one check-ins. I think this is the popular one that most of our students in the current cohort are subscribed to, and they get one-to-one. Some of them are facing blocker with regards to, as simple as choosing a name. And we'll sit down together. Okay, this is that. What are the main ideas you want to use in choosing your names? Let's do this together. and they're able to move away from that blocker. Some is about compliance, some is about I have three different businesses, and these three different businesses, right? I want to do it together, but I don't know. And at the end of these sessions, they're always able to get clarity, enhanced visibility, through podcast feature, blog feature, media feature across platforms, LMS and peer supports, business websites, logo and branding supports. So for this billboard, we are revamping their logos because everything is important. Branding, I was even sharing with them how even from just having a website can be an income stream that you put down, having a blog and a website, and that's some things a lot of people don't know can be an income stream for your business where you are just earning just because you have your website. And that's part of the things that our students, they're not just going to learn this, but we also set this up for them, from SEO to all of these things where you don't even, it's not budget first for us when it comes to, it's not like spending money first. It's not about running ads first. It's about putting all those things in place so that when you run ads, those ads will have meaningful returns on investments for you, right? And we've got the one-to-one. If you want to work with me personally all through, this is, £2,000. And the best part is that today, all these courses are running for 50% discounts if you pay today for the next cohort starting October 25th. Those that joined the last one, they are now like 7 weeks in. And, some of them will be sharing their experience, telling you how much clarity they've gotten and how, impressed they've been, with the session. And the good thing is that you can pay in installments. So imagine someone telling you to pay £250 a day to get your business journey started, right? And you can even still pay it 3 times. So what's holding you back, right, from starting? One other founder that I worked with yesterday was shared somewhere that when and another thing is that there are so many supports in place for underrepresented founders. And the person was sharing how, right, underrepresented. I mean, I think the person was in a session of underrepresented founders, and there was only one Black person there. Like, there are so many programs that you can position yourself in to get funding, to get all these things, but you only can access all those things if you get your story right. Running a business, even if you are selling pure water, sorry to use that example, but if you're selling, there's a way you can tell your story, and then when you even present that story to like people of other colors, like they will just be like, wow, you're solving this kind of big problem. And that's the way we should run businesses here. It's not like some other climates where, you can just be running business. Here, you need to run your business with purpose, right? So, like I was saying, so for the build smarts, for that one, you don't get websites and you don't get some other, benefits. It's just £250, but you still get the live classes and you get the recorded classes. So the way it works is that before class, on Wednesdays, the pre-recorded class for that week is uploaded. So it's not like it's pre-recorded and we still record it week on week. So the recording for that class is uploaded and you get to you reflect and work on your class. And when we meet on Saturdays, we're having a class by 5 p.m. today now, for instance. When we meet by 5 p.m., we now get to like look at case studies related to your personal businesses, right? While working out, the solutions and clarity altogether, right? And for the build board, which is the one that most of the current cohort are enrolled in, is currently on a discount for just £750. You can pay in 3 installments. Your website is covered for. In this UK, I've paid for website to be done before we started the RKY Digital Solutions. I've paid for website to be done for over £1,500, and now you are getting it as part of a £750 package. Your website, your logo, your branding supports, right? And I think that's like, even if website is the only thing you get out of this £750, is way worth your money. Because even if you get a developer to build a website for you, they're not going to build it less than this amount. And this one, you're not just getting a developer, you're not making mistakes. Because I know people now that came in with websites and the website needs to be updated, their logos needs to be refreshed and worked on all over again by our team. Okay, so you're getting all of these supports, right, as part of the package. And then we've got the one-to-one. So if you want to work with me, you don't want to see other people, you just want to work with me, that is on offer for £1,000 as well. So 250, 750, and £1,000. That's the current offer you get today. And I know I have a lot of people that ask me, why are you teaching? Like, why are you like, teaching this thing? Why are you not keeping all this your not trade secrets or whatever you call it to yourself? And for me, like I've always said, it's always been for me, it's always been about elevating others, and making sure that we all thrive as a community because we all need each other, you know, being the only one. I'm not saying I'm the only one, by the way, but being like, a single out person that is, you really need your community as well. When we have our events, I want to get speakers from our community. We don't have to go start looking for speakers. Let us all rise together. Let's have more people in the room. Let's have more rooms created. And that would also create opportunities for more people, within our community, which is the sole reason, why I do this. I currently do it in the career space as well. And right now we have over 2,000 people that are in like almost, six-figure jobs, doing really well and thriving well. And why not in business as well? Right. So, which is the reason why I also support people in business. So, like I said, £250 for the business smart. You can pay in installments for 3 months, I think, if you use Klarna, ClearPay, and all those things. And then we have the 750 for the build board. The next cohort is 24th of October? Right. And so how do you know which package is best for you? The Build Smart is actually best for, I think the Build Smart and Build Bold, you get practically the same thing. The only difference is that you don't get, website and some other things. And then the one-to-one, obviously, you also get to work with me on a one-to-one. So, I don't know if Miriam is ready, but I know Miriam is here to share with us. I don't know, yeah, to share our experience with us today from the current cohorts. But I don't want to put any other person on the spot because I can see that I have other people that are in my current cohort as well in the session. But I don't know if any of them is able to speak. But yeah, we're going to wait for Miriam. But while we are waiting for Miriam to share her experience, yeah, I think Miriam will be with us at 1:30. She's also one of the members in the RKY coaching program. So according to Warren Buffett, right? It says it's good to learn from your mistakes. However, it's better to learn from other people's mistakes. Why do you want to do trial and error when someone ahead of you has done it? And that's the price of coaching, right? Leverage insights from those who have walked the path before you, avoiding common pitfalls and fast tracking your journey to success rather than, today you get stuck, you don't know how to figure it out. Tomorrow you get stuck. Rather than having a framework and blueprints that just, springs you to success, straight away. So also, for those who just want one-to-one, we have the one-to-one, 1 hour strategy session. So if you have business idea, you're not so sure that you want a 10 weeks program, you just want to get clarity, or you want to learn how to turn that your business to a tech product or a tech business, or you're just stuck in the middle of the current. I think somebody asked for this in the last session we had. So a focused one-time advisory session to help you just get clarity on anything you're struggling with, or turning your idea, just getting a validation about your idea as well. So that goes for just £70, right? To have a 1 hour session with me about your business. So that's something you can get at any time. Just go to the link tree or the link. I think the link can also be dropped here, but you can book that at any time. So this is what the last 10 weeks or last 7 weeks in the current coaching program has looked like. Week 1, we handled vision and validation, where our founders got clarity as to, what their business idea is and right, how they actually put that down. Of course, your business vision will continue to change and evolve. However, knowing where you are going from the start is always important. So you're not just like winging it and, business model and value proposition, branding and visibility, legal and compliance, marketing and growth strategies, website and system integration, content strategy and authority building, PR and media positioning, and finance and funding, launch and showcase. So this is what is all going to be like. And the good thing is that even one of the things that our founders also get benefits from is that, if I personally can love their business idea, there's opportunity for them to also get funding either from me as an angel investor or from other investors, because I have so many people that are looking for viable businesses to invest in as well. So I think if he says, you mentioned you do this also in the career space, do you have any clarity calls that help on decide if they should be in business or career or both? Well, I would tell you for free that there's nothing stopping you from doing both, depending on what it looks like. Most of the founders that I even work with, they still have the current 9 to 5. I had a 9 to 5 until, a little bit over a year ago when I left my 9 to 5 to focus on my businesses. So for a start, if you can handle it, there's nothing wrong. And which is why you can't afford to be all over the place. If you want to really get it right in business, because you're also juggling it with your career, you want to get help so that you're just going and moving, you know, you're moving in line. But if to answer that question, yes, I do have one-to-one sessions as well on the career side. You only need to visit RKY Careers and book a career advisory session, you know, on there. Okay. Right. So I paid for the compliance class starting today. I wanted to know if I would get an email. So if you've just paid, I paid last night. Okay. So if you've just paid, um, you will get an email back. But if you can send a DM on Instagram, I can actually see that and drop your email address, and then we can forward that. Okay, I think you've even been responded to. Okay, now drop your email address in on Instagram, RKY Careers, and then I can help you forward that to Fast Track. But that's what happens when, it's really last minute. The team were already closed for the day last night when you paid. Okay. So so this is what the LMS for the business coaching program look like. So guys, you don't want to wait last minutes before, right, you make your decision. Okay, so here are some more testimonials. We have, I'm still trying to decide. Okay, if you're still trying to decide, here from our past students. Hello, coach. I just wanted to appreciate you for taking your time to teach us. I must say that I first started, I wasn't sure what I would gain, but my instincts pushed me, and I'm very glad it's paid off. My experience so far has been a rounder, from the packed tips to motivating me and the rest of the colleagues to push other. And thank you so much. I can't wait to finish implementing all the lessons, from the sessions. So having said all the things we've said right now, so what would you say, what would you say is holding you back as well, from enrolling to get maximum support from the coaching program?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi.
I don't know if you can hear me. My headphones sometimes stop playing off. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hi. Sorry, I was in another training. I told you, but I quickly they gave us break. So I thought to just quickly, that should have been around. Well done. Thank you so much. So whilst they're still deciding, I thought to quickly just give my own review. So Ricky and I were, more of like sisters. So when I wanted to start out my brand, Fee Crafts Property. So just to give you a bit of
Stop hearing her.
Hello.
Oh, okay. We can hear you again.
Okay. What's going on with my apologies? I don't know I think it's my earphones.
Yeah, but we can hear you now.
You can hear me. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Olakungi. So I'm the founder of eCraft Property. So I just wanted to while you guys are still deciding, I think I would encourage you to join. So when I started out my brand, I had all the clarity, the vision of what I wanted the brand to be like and the content I wanted to put out there. So I would say Ruki obviously served as like I would say my strategic partner. So because everything I share with her, and then most times she remind me, since you're not just a content creator, you need to position yourself as an authority. And I'm glad to say that I only launched about maybe 10 weeks ago, and I have like 2 clients already on residential property and commercial as well, which I didn't think would be this fast tracked. So, and then most of this clarity obviously came from, her telling me every time you need to position yourself as an authority. So my background is in finance. I'm an accountant. And so she was like, as that accountant, position yourself, let people know that, they can buy the tax efficient way, not just the being the normal property coach that everybody like. There are so many property coaches out there. So how do you position yourself just to make you stand out, which is what I've been putting out there, the content. And most times she'll be like, yo, don't just put out the content, make sure you do the call to action that would drive the sales funnel. Because I didn't really know much about business. To be honest, I've always been in corporate. I just thought I'd be my 9 to 5, make my money, do my own business on the side, or do my investment, my personal investment on the side. But yeah, so just having done this and launched just 10 weeks ago, I'm already on my way to becoming a millionaire by God's grace. Yeah, so just if you're still sitting on the fence, I'll just encourage you to jump on this. You'll get clarity on your ideas. She would validate your ideas. She'll tell you how you can, grow your business, how you can use different strategies. So, for example, last week we were even being taught about how you can monetize even things like just websites. You launching all your platforms, how you can even monetize all the platforms that you'll be showcasing your businesses on. So jump on it, guys. Don't sit on it too much. That's just the summary. Sorry, I didn't have time to be too much. Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. It was unscheduled, but thanks for, sharing your experience. She's someone that's, we've been in communication even before the business coaching was ready. I remember I told her I wanted to do business coaching and everything. And she'd be like, I'm ready to start, but I wasn't ready because I had not put, like I said, I had to put everything in place. So from time to time, we share, insights on this. And she's still currently even on the coaching program, and she's she's my sister and also one of the founders I work with that I'm super proud of, right? She also has, like, she's really doing well in a 9 to 5, and now she's launched a property coaching business, right? So, and even like to give example from her own, she already does property. She's been doing property for so many years, and but she wanted to launch the business side, which is one of the things, like, you already have these skills, so it's not only for people that have not even started at all. So even if you've started, you already have, income coming in, but you want to scale, or you want to, like, go diversify to get another income stream coming in, it's something that the business coaching program would also, help you to achieve. So yeah, thanks for that. I really appreciate, even though it wasn't scheduled to happen. So guys, if you're still sitting on the fence, you can hear, within how many weeks she mentioned of starting, she's already booking paid clients. So if you're one of those that you're scared of selling, you can't be scared of selling because, and it's like you said, content, and it's part of the things I also teach, content, strategic content is also one of the pillars to selling. So if you want to sell across different platforms, it's still content. If you want to do videos, it's still content. What you say, how you say it, what you tell people to do at the end of it all. So yeah, thanks for sharing your experience. So I don't know if we have questions, feel free to ask your questions as it relates to the program, the timing and everything. So classes happen on Saturdays, 5 to 6. And I don't know if Rotade wants to speak as well. She's one of those that I can see is here from the coaching program. Now I'm putting them on the spot.
This is real spot. Well, it's okay. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I'm currently part of the coaching program. that happens every Saturday. So it's a 10-week one that Ruka talked about. I would say that I've learned so much from the program already. And what really stands out for me is Ruka's unmatched passion. Having worked with her in the bank, Ruka, you should tell them about that. Very interestingly, I've known firsthand that she's a sayer and also a doer. And her inspiration is so powerful that this made me even drag a friend to join the current cohort. So, out of the excitement and, out of believing that there's something big in it for us, and even the fact that she's such an encourager and she's somebody that wants to actually see you excel. I was like, I mustn't enjoy this alone. I had to actually drag Lolade. I don't know if Lolade is happy to talk, although she's quite new on the program, but she might want to say one or two things. We've been very encouraged by Rukayat. So, guys, don't sleep on it. This is the opportunity that you have. I was saying to another friend that this package that we have is still very affordable now. There will be a time where we will be talking of thousands, even tens of thousands, and it will be worth it, I'm very sure. Good job, Ruka. I hope you get us as founders that would make you proud, and also just carry on with the whole thing. I just want to encourage people to join and not be afraid. Just do it. Just do it.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
everyone.
much. Thank you so much. So, I mean, it sounds contradictory though. Two people that have spoken, they actually happen to be in my network, although I didn't actually like knock on their door. But like I said, if you keep doing what you're doing, people are watching. And even those people within your network or your circle, they would also come back to you. In fact, I've reported to Rotade before in my previous role in the bank. Right. And she doesn't stop to continue to say how she's actually been getting value from the coaching program as well. And yeah, so thanks, Rotade. I know we didn't even reach out to you to speak. And yeah, thanks for sharing your experience. And just like she said, I'm always very passionate, because for me, it's not always about, how many people get on board, even if it's two people, and those two people go ahead, to be successful in business. I'm actually happy, right, with that. So having said that, I don't know if Miriam is now here because we have her in the Miriam is now here to share experience.
I'm here. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Finally, welcome, Miriam.
Thank you. I'm sorry for coming in this late.
That's fine.
Oh,
Welcome. Go on. So how has your experience been in the
okay.
coaching program?
Hmm. I was just going to post something today about my journey, and unfortunately for me, I've not been able to work on designs. It is something that in me. What actually came to my mind when I finished my writer was, if you actually want to build a brand and not just be an entrepreneur, this is the course you should have on, because it was very insightful for me. In fact, ChatGPT cannot do this thing for you. There's a way she will explain to you, and there's a way, and the templates that you have, if you put on the work, it will make you reflect. You actually think, you research, and you know that no, this is what I have to do. You may not be able to do it all at once, but having it at the back of your mind that this is what I want to do, this is what I should do. Like, you have a plan, a strategy. So you're not confused. All you need to do is just pick one of it, work on it, and then you move to the next one. So what I would say is that, like I said in the beginning, if you actually want to be the brand and not just be an entrepreneur, you're going from here to there, and you actually want to be, how do I put it now? Be you, like you are showing up for your brand as you and not somebody else. This is what this is a program you should, because I have been on some courses, although it is not a business coach, it's like an advertising or something like that. And I realized that I was absorbing others into me, not in the kind of way that I like. So anytime I want to show up, it's stressful. I was not doing what I actually wanted to do. But when I joined this program, it's like another journey for me entirely. I moved from just wanting to sell bra, even though I didn't want to sell bra, My brand is your brand, by the way. It's not like I actually started a business because I wanted to sell brand. I wanted to solve a problem. But along the line, I realized I was actually selling. I was not solving that problem. And that was not me. I was absorbing other people. I was just doing, I was just dragging, they would say, don't give up, just keep doing. I was just using strong I was doing. But I was not satisfied. I was not always happy to show up. And then when I got on this journey, I realized that I needed this to actually reach my goals. I needed to do some things. And from there, I was able to realize that I had to actually be a brafita before I can actually solve people's problem. Then I went to take that course again. That course is expensive. Oh. This one is not even expensive. This one is cheap. And I had to pay because I realized that before I can get to my goal, I have to be an expert in my field. I have to know this thing before I can be bold enough to go and register my business and do everything that she has told us to do. So I knew I was being able. And the first thing I actually had with her, I was about to give up. Why? Because she asked me, apart from this other thing, I thought I was doing two things, and she's like, what tie these two together? How can you bring the two together? How can you make money through the two? She said a lot of things that I was like, God, I was overwhelmed. Like, why is this one like just too much like this? Like for like 2 weeks, I did not touch it. I was just thinking that this is not what I signed up for. You say you want to teach us, just tell me what I want to do with your brand and let me go. But then after the assignment and the class, I realized that she was actually making sense because money has to come from various ways, and you don't have to go outside of you. There are things within you that actually can actually monetize, and it's not like you are doing something outside of you. They are all within you. They are who you are. I think I'm talking too much, so I think this program has really helped me. So please, it is something you should do if you actually want to move strategically and not just be everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miriam, for sharing your experience. I also remember that first call, and she told me, oh, "Okay, your bra body, that's the name of her brand, and she's trying to solve this problem." And then I think I asked her then that, okay, apart from this problem you're trying to solve, or apart from the brands, how else do you intend to make money from this business? Because how are we going to get to six figures with just, I have another person in my coaching program. She's a fashion designer and she tells me she sews. And I'm like, okay, fine, great skill. How are we going to get to six figures from just sewing? How are we going to like have sustainable income, from how many clothes can you possibly sew in a month that will pay your bills? And that is the way, we operate here. Because what's the point of doing many things that will burn you out if you can put them under an umbrella and, put the same effort to get as much results from it out. And like to put context in what she said, about joining some sessions where, probably it's just energy they want. They just like pass on energy to you. Oh, create content, show up every day, do this, do that, which is good. But if you don't even get your vision and if you don't validate your problem or get your vision first, you can't just be attending content creation classes where they teach you energy and then like she said, from our own experience that she shared with me, she said she wasn't even doing it the way she was comfortable with. She was like doing it in a way that wasn't really her. And it's not just about energy, it's not just about speed, because speed in the wrong direction will not get you results. Getting it right first, stabilizing things and then having momentum after that is what is going to take us to the success. Because that's what a lot of people do and struggle with. And that's what kills a lot of businesses. They have a hyped period, and then when the result is not coming, because you've actually put in too much than you're supposed to put in, you've not put in the clarity first, because that clarity is what would always keep you going. Business is never like easy peasy. There are times where, things will be in abundance. There are times when things would also like, be at some lows. But what would always keep you going is that mindset you had from the start, the mindsets. In fact, I would always say even nurture areas you can make money from. You don't even need to make money from it at that time, but you know that at least they are there. Always try to identify opportunities, how else you can make money, what else you can do. But anyways, thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you, Rosade. Thank you, Fola, as well, for sharing your experience. And by the way, these founders are across industries, from fashion to edtech, right, and to property. So if you have children that want to learn tech and want to get into tech, Rotade, the founder of Tat Academy, is your go-to, right? If you know that you want to future-proof the future of your children, you want them to be ready for the future. You don't want them to be doing master classes up and down like this, like us at 40s, 50s, or 30s, or whatever. Now is the time to get them ready across other things she does as well. Fola is a property coach. She helps you to get into property, right? Into property, either residential, commercial, or even investments. She's also, an investment or finance expert as well, qualified accountant. And then we've got Miriam. Miriam is also she's a is it fashion? I'll call it now. She's the founder of Your Bra Body, as well as you know, other businesses. She's solving the problem of bra fitting, as well as building a community of, women that wants to look good, or, even in the modest way, while also building a community alongside. And we also have other people that are not here today. But what am I trying to prove? We've got people across industries, and the strategies to actually build a sustainable business is still the same, so long as you get it right from the start. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing your opportunity. I don't know if you have any questions before we call it a day. Have any questions? Okay, so in the absence of any other question, feel free to send us a DM or send us an email. If you have any clarity, or if you know anyone as well that will benefit from this. I think someone was asking if this session is recorded. Yes, it's recorded, and it's going to be on our YouTube. I think I don't know if it's RKY Careers YouTube now, we're publishing it, but yeah, it's going to be on our YouTube, and follow RKY Careers Business Hub page as well. If you can post the link of the Business Hub page on Instagram, join the community. We'll also be sharing it in the community. I think the link to the community was dropped earlier. The community is free to join, to get free resources and other insights as it relates to business. But that's about it. It's been lovely having each and every one of you on this session. Thanks for joining. I think next month we're going to be picking something else, you know, around business. It could be PR, it could be, starting, it could be monetization, it could be anything, right? So I look forward to seeing you all next month, and look forward to seeing you in the coaching program as well next month. Thanks everyone who have joined. Have a great weekend.